Hi, this is Melissa from Salon Meraki, North Haven, Phoenix. This is my client, Kira. She is so nice to model for me today. So if you notice, she's got natural ginger tones, and we love that we can do a lot of fun things with this. Her hair is also in mint condition because she hasn't touched it since she had her daughter. So this is also like a girl's day for her. She's the front desk receptionist at a gym, so we want her to scream color. We want everyone to see her and notice her. So we're gonna be going with some really vivid gingers and some reds. So my technique is going to be, as I sectioned her, I have 7 partings, and I'm going to be combining some balayage techniques and some Babylight techniques. And then we're going to go back in and do a shaded root and a glaze. Okay, so I just want to go quickly through a little bit of what my thought process was for her color. If you look, I particularly love Redken Shades EQ. It's very versatile, it's very shiny. There's some iridescence in it, and they do pack a nice punch for reds and gingers. So I'm going to be using, this is going to be her root section, this is going to be her mid section, and we're gonna fire those tips out with a little red blush. For lightening, we're going to be using Blonde Me, the Bond Enforced Lightener. 20 volume is as high as I normally will go. Adding Olaplex, and then a little dash of clear for her ends. So I have kept her, I protected her back a little bit to, make sure she doesn't get lightener or lightening dust all over her. I have mixed the blonding cream a little bit thicker than usual because, again, I'm going to be balayaging the back quadrants. When I come around to the front, I will remix using a 10 volume because I don't want to use too much. 10 is going to be just enough pop for that money piece, and we want it to be a different consistency than this. So I'm starting in the back section. I have taken triangular sectioning. It's going to give a nice depth when I do these V-shaped balayage pieces. Kira works at the gym again, so she also wears her hair up quite a bit. So I am definitely going to add in some pieces around her hairline and make sure that as her hair grows out, it looks like she has some lightness around her face. The easiest way to do that, I found, is to make that section as clean as possible and find that shape of her neck. Very easily, I do just a Babylight. You want to stay away from the very baby pieces because this will look like breakage if this is lightened. So I always leave that section dropped, and you'll notice you'll be able to see that nice pop. So that will be my first piece. You really want to keep good tension. Tension is key. I stress this with everybody. Make sure you feather through that. You don't want any harsh lines. Generally apply your product. Everyone folds their foils differently. I fold twice. And I bend my corners in. It gives me more room to work with my next sections coming down. And now directly above that, I'm going to be starting my Babylight and balayage. My pattern. I like to switch and do a mixture of both going up this quadrant. You want to be able to see through your section. This section's a little bit too thick, so what I'll do is I'll cut this in half. I'm not ignoring this piece. We'll come back to this later on after we have all her foils in place, and I do a little freehand painting just through the tips like I had mentioned before. Tension is key, body position. Remembering what you paint is what you see. I want some really drastic highs and lows in here, so I am double saturating this. I am going underneath because I want to see that dimension underneath. Seeing this technique, I'm going to continue this all the way up to here, and I will repeat on this side, and then we will start over on this section, and I'll show you how we begin my first section here. As you see, I've created this pattern of some really high peaks and some really like low valleys here because I want to see the depth. I want to see that light and bright, and I want to make sure that red really pops. If you've noticed, I kind of worked my way up a slight diagonal. I liked the way the pattern was looking, so I went with it. All hairs have a little bit of love going on. Some are more saturated than others purposely. My next section, I'm going to go ahead and continue the same way. I've mixed a second fresh batch of lightning dust, and I have my little cleaning towel. Balayaging can be very messy, so I think it's important to always make sure that you're keeping a neat space along with your neat sectioning. It just really helps to make sure you're staying inside your artistic vision. This section here, I'm going to do the same pattern. We're going to switch it up between balayage and some baby lights. As I progress towards the top, I'm really going to focus on some heavier paneling so that we get that light and dark effect. I worked my way to the top, repeating that pattern, balayage, baby light. And if you've noticed, I've got a little bit of a triangle left. And because now we have to do the top section, which is where we're going to see a lot of the placement, I want to pay attention to seeing the light and the dark. So what I have thought about doing is, instead of coming up on this diagonal now, I'm going to come down and start doing sections like this, making sure I pull my tension to the forward direction because I want to get as much of that coverage as I can, and then we're going to lay it here. Because after this is done, what will happen is you'll start to see that gradient effect throughout here, which will lay nicely over these. So as you can see, I have shampooed, I have conditioned with the Olaplex Step 2 to protect that hair. You can see that those baby lights and the balayage lifted 2 different colors, which is what we wanted for that effect. And now I'm going to go in with these 3 shades EQ that I've mixed with the cream glaze. I've got my root, my mid, and my ends. Stay tuned. As you can see, I'm focusing really on her root with the deepest of the ginger red that we're going to use. And I am sectioning her and kind of eliminating those brighter blonde pieces, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some of that mid color in and that end so she keeps the brightness of those Bali money pieces. So I've got all 3 colors. I've tried to seamlessly blend them. As you can see, there's a light to dark effect. Make sure we maintain the brightness of those ends. Comb through, even saturation. Love the shades EQ. The cream developer makes it for a really nice application for people who do not want to deal with permanent hair color. So we'll be able to change this up seasonally for her.